In the world of modern shipping, the journey of a cargo vessel is the epitome of routine. These steel leviathans are the unsung workhorses of the global economy. Their voyages governed by schedules, satellite navigation, and complex weather data, all designed to make the treacherousness of the sea a predictable, manageable variable. On the evening of September 29, 2015, the SS El Faro, a 790-foot cargo ship, departed from Jacksonville, Florida, on its regular weekly run to San Juan, Porto Rico. It was a trip the ship and its 33-person crew had made hundreds of times, but this voyage would be different. Unbeknownst to most of the world, a tropical storm named Joaquin was rapidly intensifying in their path, a meteorological bomb about to detonate. The story of the El Faro is a slow, agonizing, and ultimately preventable journey into the heart of a maelstrom, all captured with chilling clarity in the ship's final audio recordings. The El Faro, Spanish for the lighthouse, was an old ship. Launched in 1975 as the Porto Rico, she was a veteran of the seas, a roll-on, roll-off vessel designed to carry vehicles and cargo containers between decks. By 2015, she was 40 years old and showing her age, an antique in an industry of newer, larger, and more technologically advanced vessels. The ship was scheduled for retirement in just a few months. Critically, she was sailing with open-top lifeboats, an outdated design that had been grandfathered in under old regulations. These lifeboats were utterly unsuitable for launching in hurricane conditions, a fact that would prove tragically significant. The company that owned her, Tote Maritime, was known for its emphasis on reliable, on-time service. This pressure to maintain a strict schedule was an unspoken but constant factor in the lives of the crew and, critically, in the decision-making of its captain, Michael Davidson. Davidson was a 53-year-old veteran mariner from Maine, a man with decades of experience at sea. As the El Faro steamed southeast into the night, he was monitoring the progress of Tropical Storm Joaquin. His critical error, and the first link in a fatal chain, was his reliance on outdated weather information. The ship was not equipped with the most modern weather forecasting software. Instead, it relied on text-based reports and satellite imagery sent in packets twice a day. These weather faxes were often 6 or more hours old by the time they were analysed on the bridge, a dangerous lag time when dealing with a rapidly evolving storm. These old reports consistently showed Joaquin as a moderate tropical storm on a path that the El Faro could supposedly skirt by to the south. Based on this flawed data, Davidson chose to stick to his direct, familiar, and most fuel-efficient route, rather than taking a longer, safer southerly route that would have kept him far from the storm's potential track. He believed he was making a calculated, professional decision. As the ship sailed through the day and night of September 30th, the junior officers on the bridge began to express growing, audible concern. The new weather forecasts they were receiving via their personal devices showed that Joaquin had exploded in intensity and was now a major hurricane, and its track was shifting directly towards them. The second mate, Danielle Randolph, and the third mate, Jeremy Ream, both suggested to the captain that they alter course further south. Their concerns are captured with heartbreaking clarity on the ship's voyage data recorder, the vessel's black box, which was later miraculously recovered from 15,000 feet of water. The audio from the bridge reveals a captain supremely confident, even dismissive of the storm and his crew's anxieties. In one exchange, the third mate suggests the southerly route. Davidson replies, "No, we're not going to do that. We're going to stay on this side of it." He tells his officers that he has experience with storms and believes he can shoot under Joaquin, a fatal miscalculation against the fury of a Category 4 hurricane. The culture on the bridge was one where the captain's word was final, and his overconfidence effectively shut down any further debate. The junior officers, despite their correct assessment of the danger, were left with no recourse. By the early morning of October 1st, there was no more denying reality. The El Faro had sailed directly into the hurricane's eyewall. The ship was being hammered by waves estimated at over 40 feet high and winds gusting well over 140 miles per hour. The VDR audio captures the terrifying sounds of the ship being brutalized by the storm. The constant, deafening roar of the wind, like a jet engine that never ceases. The thunderous crash of massive waves against the hull, and the cacophony of alarms beginning to sound throughout the vessel. The ship developed a severe list to port, as the violent rolling motion caused cars and cargo to break loose in the hold and shift to one side, a problem that could not be corrected in the raging sea. Then came the final, fatal blows. At approximately 5:43 a.m., a huge wave is believed to have smashed across the deck, flooding an open scuttle or hatch that a crew member had left unsecured. Seawater began pouring into one of the cargo holds. This influx of water exacerbated the list, making the ship even more unstable. A little over an hour later, at 6:54 a.m., the crew reported to the captain that the ship had lost lube oil pressure to its main engine, likely due to the extreme list. The engines shut down. The El Faro was now dead in the water, a powerless steel coffin at the mercy of the most violent part of the hurricane. The last 30 minutes of the VDR audio are a harrowing, almost unlistenable record of a crew fighting for their lives against impossible odds. The captain can be heard trying to assess the flooding, his earlier confidence completely shattered and replaced by a growing desperation. He gives the order to abandon ship, but it is a futile command. The severe list, the hurricane-force winds, and the mountainous seas would have made launching the archaic open-top lifeboats an act of suicide. One of the last audible conversations is of the captain trying to help a terrified helmsman who cried out, "I'm a goner, I'm not going to make it." The captain tries to calm him, telling another officer, "Get on the radio, tell him we're going down." The final recording from the bridge is of Captain Davidson yelling, his voice strained with the roar of the wind, "Everybody get off! Get off the ship! Stay together!" The audio ends abruptly at 7:39 a.m. Then there is only the ghostly silence of the deep. The search and rescue effort was massive, but it was too late. Only a single body in a survival suit was ever recovered, along with a heavily damaged lifeboat and a field of debris. The wreck of the El Faro was located 3 weeks later, sitting upright in 15,000 feet of water. The even more remarkable recovery of its VDR a year later provided the unvarnished, terrifying truth of what happened on that bridge. The National Transportation Safety Board investigation was scathing. It was one of the most exhaustive in the agency's history. It placed the primary blame on Captain Davidson for his poor decision-making, his overconfidence, and his failure to heed his officers' warnings. But it also condemned Toke Maritime for its weak safety culture, for failing to provide the crew with the most up-to-date weather tools, for sailing a 40-year-old ship into a hurricane, and for fostering an environment where a captain felt immense pressure to prioritise the schedule over the safety of his crew. The loss of the SS El Faro is a uniquely modern maritime tragedy. It is a story of reckless overconfidence, reliance on outdated information, and the relentless pressure of modern logistics forcing a crew to sail a 790-foot ship directly into the abyss. The final audio recordings are a chilling memorial to the 33 souls who faced down a hurricane, their final desperate moments forever preserved in a ghostly echo from the bottom of the sea.